Pre-patch is here, and with it comes the balance, the Weapon Master.
Yeah, shut the fuck up. Get out of here, man. Shut up with your balance and bullshit. Let me do this. Get out. Hold on. Yeah.
Son of a...
Yeah, you better walk away. All right, let's do this. Oh, man. Flame is just too goddamn short. There you go. Haha. Now let me tell you all about this bad boy. If you like to smash, and smash hard, and just ruin some poor mob's day, then Fury is the one you play. I'm telling you, Flame wrote the script, you know, it's just his rhyming, I'm sorry. Alright, enough joking around. There have been quite a few changes for Fury when it comes to spells, unpruning, talents, and more. Yeah, no more corruptions, thank the Lord! As with all pre-patches, the class is not complete yet. No covenants, no conduits, not even your fully ranked up spells like Rallying Cry getting 5% more HP buff. For everything unpruned with Fury Warrior, you can check our Shadowlands overview video after this one, because you know, YouTube thinks, don't mess it up. Speaking of which, make sure you are subscribed and have those damn notifications enabled. We know almost 80% of y'all are not subscribed, so come on, do us a solid. You already get the videos in your recommended anyway. Much love. There have been a few nerfs and buffs you need to know of. First off, some basic class abilities and passives like Enrage, the quintessential one. The haste buff has been lowered from 25 to 15%. This will make you feel a bit slower. The haste is still good and the spec feels good. You just won't be a maniac on steroids. Bloodthirst has also been nerfed in the healing department to now offer a reduced 3% from the previous 5%. This means a bit less sustain. Is it good? Is it bad? Well, considering Arms has no such thing, maybe this was meant to shorten the gap between the two specs. Rampage is also cheaper, costing 80 rage down from 85, which can only be a good thing. Especially with the new talents you will see in a minute. Recklessness also buffed to last 12 seconds from 10 and it's off the GCD. This is a very welcome change since we all know GCD has a lot in common with the Twilight Vampires. They suck! And besides the unpruned abilities, Single-Minded Fury is back to increase the damage you do by dual-wielding one-handers by 12% and a bit of 5% extra movement speed. Yep, I know you old school Fury Warrior fanatic that you are wanted to dual-wield one-handers again. Well, there you go. Dream come true. Now let's check the talents. What? What is this? Where are all your talents, man? Oh, but wait, new talents? Hell yeah! Christmas came early for Fury in the form of you dying and going into the afterlife. Too much? Too soon? Doesn't matter, because on the first row, you will go with sudden death for raiding. Oh, hot damn, Mr. Arms Warrior talent! Welcome to Fury! Yep, this gives you execute procs which are amazing for rage generation and damage to boot. Or go with fresh meat in dungeons. This has been redesigned and now guarantees enrage the first time you bloodthirst a target. So target swapping with bloodthirst is the name of the game. That on top of 15% extra chance to cause enrage makes the HP nerf to the skill all but a thing of the past. The second row is about utility and survivability. Double time will be your go-to for pretty much all content, both raids and dungeons, cause, you know, mobility is key, man. Not like Red Paladin. I cannot wait to see Flame struggle with that shit now, because that's what he's maining. The other choice you can consider is Stormbolt. A single target stun on a short cooldown is really good in shutting down mobs and adds that are casting stuff, moving around, or chasing your tank. Remember that, fools? Third row, you will see changes once again, and yeah, you will play with them. Frenzy will be your go-to raid option. The bonus haste it provides has obvious benefits. It will reduce downtime, increase rage regeneration, and overall feel really good. Onslaught is the new kid on the block and the dungeons option. It hits pretty hard and generates 15 rage, but requires you to be enraged to cast. This adds an interesting dynamic to the spec and something extra to manage. Next up is the defensive row, with no real changes here. Warpaint is still fundamentally the best option for all content, and something you shouldn't skip. If you don't push yourself in raids and dungeons, you can pick whatever else you want here. The level 40 row has changed from head to toe. The new Frothing Berserker will be your option here and good for both raiding and dungeons. Making Rampage have a chance to refund a chunk of rage helps with downtime when it comes to what abilities will be available, and increases your total Rampage and Enrage uptime as a consequence. Same thing goes for the level 45 row, where Dragon Roar is your go-to. The current version of the skill, depending when was the last time you played Fury, sees it generate 10 rage and have no AoE cap. Cause if you haven't heard, people have a cap on their AoE skills in Shadowlands. Bladestorm, for instance, does not hit more than 8 targets. Also, since you will be stacking crit, we'll get to that, Dragon Roar damage is even higher since it crits for 3 times the normal damage as opposed to the standard 2 times. On the last row, Siegebreaker remains the raid and potentially single target go-to. It provides you with a small DPS boost window that can overall give you a lot of damage if you are good at casting this on cooldown. Nothing new from BFA. In dungeons though, you will get to use the new Reckless Abandon talent. This one will transform your Bloodthirst and Raging Blow skills into empowered versions of themselves while also making Recklessness generate 50 rage. All for the purpose of burst and high uptime on Enrage. Currently, the stats take into consideration the pre-patch, meaning that these and everything else is subject to change once you hit 60 in Shadowlands. For now, crit is your best stat because of Azerite, and we'll get to that soon. After crit, you want haste until 35%-ish. After the 35% breakpoint, haste will fall off, and third, go with versatility, followed by mastery, and strength is all the way at the bottom, aka eye level not that great, arguably. There will be such a thing as too much atom level sacrifice to get crit. This is mostly theory crafting and testing done by Archimetros and the Skyhold Warriors. Also, simming might not be a thing until you ding level 60, since most 5-heads will be working on endgame LPLs to generate the sims you and I are interested in. Following this, the consumables are going to align with your stats. Get the versatile navigation as a solid enchant to keep as you balance your haste levels, while deadly navigation would be the other one. Go with a Chord of Critical Strike for your rings and deadly Lava Lazuli gems for the sockets. Again, crit works well because of the Cold Steel Hot Blood Azerite. Otherwise, you can keep a balance between crit and versatility as long as you have your haste up towards the 35% mark. Go with the Greater Flask of the Undertow for strength, and some McDowell's Big Mac food for that sweet, sweet crit. All of this is pretty standard for Fury, and you might have already been doing this prior to pre-patch. Aside from corruptions not being in the game, stuff like versatility only helps essence damage, Geriku procs, and so on. And the long-awaited section soon to be removed from our videos. Can't fucking wait, I'm telling you. The best Azerite trait to stack remains Cold Steel Hot Blood. Not much change here. This is what makes crit so good. This is what scales the best even now, so get it! Unbridled Ferocity and Simmering Rage are really good secondary contestants. Keep in mind that with corruption no longer being a thing, Heart of Darkness is officially shit. The main traits are a bit more obvious to take, but for the minor inner rings, it falls down to what you are left with. Unstable Flames is again a source of crit. Heed My Call is a good AoE damage boost, while Overwhelming Power still gives a lot of haste for one trait. Scaled down, of course, all of them. So maybe just focus on the major traits. As for the essences, Blood of the Enemy remains the best for AoE raid fights with loads of adds and general damage as a major, while Condensed Life Force excels at single target on those raid bosses that you can keep uptype on and maybe even have the chance to cast this twice. Minors for raiding are Conflict and Strife. As always, you saw how good versatility was. Breath of the Dying, still a silent minor, and Essence of the Focusing Iris can fill in some haste as long as you don't swap targets too much. In Mythic Plus dungeons, Blood of the Enemy can still be Biz, but maybe you don't have it yet, so you can replace it with Essence of the Focusing Iris. For the minor slots, Conflict and Strife once again still provides much needed versatility. Breath of the Dying is still really good here. Damage procs all over the place, and you can opt in for Purification Protocol for AoE DPS output. For a basing rotation to start you off, courtesy of Archimitros from Skyhold, you still follow the basics. In single target, you use Rampage when you are not in Rage, or save up to 90 Rage, then use it. Pop Recklessness on cooldown or save it if you have a burst window incoming. Siegebreaker should be used during Recklessness with priority, then on cooldown. Execute when it procs or it's available. Bloodthirst next, followed by Onslaught. Dragon Roar only when enraged. When fighting more than one target, the only real change you do is fit in Whirlwinds to maintain your cleave buff, considering you are going with the talent setup mentioned earlier. The boys and gals in the Skyhold community have done some pretty cool stuff, and Archimitros wrote a nice pre-patch guide for Fury on Wowhead as well, and you can check it out in the description. Thank you, Skyhold, may your hits be crits! Goddamn Flame with his scripts. And of course, this would never be possible without the support of our Patreon, so thank you so much, guys. I hope everybody can see themselves on the left side of the screen, as well as everybody in our Discord admin and Twitch subs who are also majority Patreons. Thank you so much for helping out with all the videos, our Twitch subs, followers, everybody's welcome to join the crowd. There's details in the description if you are thinking about joining the Patreon team, especially to support the content that we do. We will be putting out pre-patch guides for mostly DPS specs and then moving along with the actual full guides once we get the release date for Shadowlands, on top of our Friday weekly WoW news show on cooldown, the MoCast podcast, you know, the podcast with WoW community figures, but more beyond what's happening behind the camera, and a lot of more cool stuff to come. So thank you. Thank you for watching. Have a great day ahead. See you soon.
I've been loving it then, I still love it now. Still, I play WoW. Still, I play WoW. Getting better every day, let me show you how. Cause still, I play WoW. Still, I play WoW. It's getting harder to stay, but at the end of the day, it's a guilty pleasure, so just log in and play. Whether it's classic or retail, I'ma do a /bow. Still, I play WoW.